while, these more experienced men, maybe American, maybe European men, are by the front of the stage where the performer is with the ping pong paddles.
Popping the balls. As she's popping them out of her kitty, they're hitting the balls with the ping pong paddles. And we look at each other and we're like, what did we get into? What is this? Hello. Welcome to Shetrippin, the channel where I tell you about my many travels around the world. And today we have a very special guest, the love of my life, Miss Loud Owl. She's so silly. So we are going to tell you about a trip we took several years ago to Bangkok, Thailand. So at the time, she had never traveled internationally before. So I wanted to take her somewhere that would really push her out of her comfort zone. Somewhere where she can get the true travel experience. So we decided on Thailand. So it was a very long flight to get there. But we flew on Qatar. It was a great flight, but it was a long flight. And we finally touched down in Bangkok. We get to the hotel, put our luggage up in the room. And now we want to do some exploring. We really want to eat something because we were sick of that airplane food. So we decided to go downstairs and
to our hotel bar. Mm-hmm. They had great food. We ordered some like chicken wingdings and we ordered some papaya salad. It was an overall great first like dining experience. Our waitress was very kind. She actually taught us a couple common phrases to navigate through Thailand.
And she still uses that.
I still use it every day, every time I go to H Mart.
So after we eat, we leave the restaurant and we just want to kind of walk around our hotel outside so we can see our surroundings. Neither one of us had ever been to Thailand before, so we wanted to see what was up, what's on our street, what does our neighborhood look like. And then
so we walk down to the end of the main street where our hotel is sitting, and we're just kind of like taking in the atmosphere, absorbing the different scent, the different people, what the surroundings look like. And then I had a poop trick. And I don't know if you know what a poop trick is, but it's when you think you have to fart, but it tricks you and it's really a poop. So I had to graciously excuse myself from that wonderful experience so that I could freshen up.
And I'm just oh, she just has to go and use the restroom. I didn't know what was happening. She didn't tell me. I didn't know she had a shartsinette.
I sure did have a shartsinette. And I honestly don't even think I told Shetrippin until maybe like a year later. Yeah. We went out a whole ridiculously long amount of time like with her out without Shetrippin knowing that I had a poop trick.
Shame. So throughout the days, we would go and visit temples and different shops and things, and just to see what we can get into. And we heard about this place called Patpong Night Market. And it was actually really close to our hotel. It was just like down the road. So we walked up there one night, and I mean, it was tons of people there. It was bustling.
Jam-packed. It was a traditional like night market. What you think when you think of an Asian night market? There were feezies and faditas and fuchi and frada all throughout and around and about. There was a few good cultural items. We did end up getting a couple of resin statues from that same night market later on in the trip.
Right, but lots of fakes.
But lots of counterfeits.
Yeah. But another interesting thing about Patpong is that they had a lot of people like standing outside their bars with menus. So one guy approached us and he had this menu and he said, "Kiddie show." Kiddie show?
They ain't gotta tip me with a good time.
Don't ever tell two lesbians about a kiddie show. Because we don't want to see it.
And I had actually told the guy, I was like, well, we really were we were really looking to see lady boys. Like it's definitely not a proper term, but that's the terminology that they use there, I suppose. But we were looking for like a drag show. Like that's what we were trying to get into. But when you say it's Kitty on the line, I got the time.
Now y'all see why I invited her to this episode, right? She is just so silly, but true. So Kitty show, we like, oh, we gonna say, oh, okay. Well, I want to see some Kitty.
What the kids say? Say less.
Say less. Right. So we're thinking, okay, he's standing outside a bar, so it's got to be at this bar. But no, we walked all through the market. He led us through these alleyways, and we're twisting and turning throughout these dark areas.
Short of breath.
It was it was probably like 5-10 minute walk. And then we go up some stairs and in this dark hallway, and then he knocks on the door and the dude slides open the door and, the little peephole, and they exchange words or something, and we finally get in. So when we get into the place, it looks like your average gentleman's club, right?
Stage, poles, seating, booths, chairs.
Exactly.
The whole setup.
Yeah. So we sit down at a table, and we notice that there are ping pong paddles on every table. And we're like, what is this to?
Hell, the waitress, like what are we exactly supposed to do with these ping pong paddles? So we end up ordering a couple singha. That's the I guess the drink they give all the tourists, I suppose. And we're sitting down waiting for the show.
So we sit and wait on the show. We actually met some other Black Americans who were there from DC. So we went over and just chatted with them for a minute just to see what was up. And they were excited about the show. They didn't know what was going to happen.
They also did not know what those ping pong paddles were for either.
None of us knew. But boy, were we going to find out. Finally, it's time for the main event. The show is starting. And a woman comes out on the stage, and she sits down, and she spread eagle.
And she rapid fires ping pong balls out of her kitty. And when I say rapid fire, I want you to understand that they were one after the other after the other.
Like she didn't have to reload.
There wasn't a much reload. Right, yeah. That's the great. She wasn't reloading. She came on that thing with a full clip. Okay, and
she's popping them out.
All the while, these more experienced men, maybe American, maybe European men, are by the front of the stage where the performer is with the ping pong paddles.
Popping the balls. As she's popping them out of her kitty, they're hitting the balls with the ping pong paddles. And we look at each other and we're like, what did we get into? What is this? This is not what I thought a kiddie show was.
Somebody lied.
Somebody lied.
That was just the joke. Okay, they get you in the tag. They get you in the
right.
door. That's the joke. But the real the kitty coming. Okay, that was just a fluke.
Exactly. So we're like, okay, if this is the warm up, what is the real show going to be about?
Right.
So
this the opener.
So the next woman comes out, and she's pulling something out of her kitty, and she wraps it around one of the poles, and it
like a pulley lever.
Yeah, and it looks like a lei, like a Hawaiian lei, like a string of flowers.
Lei from Party City.
But it's so long that she can wrap it around the pole and pull it.
It's a full engineered pulley system at this point.
And it's coming out of her kitty, wrapped around the pole, and she is pulling it out.
Several times. I did not count exactly, but it was at least 45 seconds. It was a long time.
So this thing was probably like 10 feet long. Something like at least.
Like she took a couple, cut them in half.
Yeah.
And tied them
together. I didn't think about that. That is hilarious. So that's act number 2. So the third woman comes out and she stands in the middle of the stage. And she is very delicately pulling a string.
With precision.
She's pulling a string out of her kitty. And it's very carefully. And I can see something like glinting in the light. Like it's like metallic. And it's catching the light.
But we couldn't figure out what exactly
and
it
I'm
was.
like, loud out, what is that?
And in that split second, I seen the glimmer of the apparatus she was using, and I said, "She tripping? I think them razor blades."
She was pulling a string of razor blades
Get somebody else to do it.
out of the kitty. And it was probably like 6 of them tied on this thin string, and she is pulling them out. Now I'm just like, I have seen it all.
Check, please.
But that's not it from her, because she pulls out a piece of paper. I don't know where she pulled the paper out of, and she's slicing the paper with the razor blades
to let you know it's real.
To let you know that they
She
are
ain't
really
play
sharp.
pimping.
Right, they're really sharp. This is real razor blades. So we are just like, I'm sweating at this point.
Befuddled and bewildered. Okay.
I don't know what's happening. The fourth woman comes out. And in Thailand, you can't drink the tap water. So they provide you these tall glass water bottles, and they have a pop top on them that you would have to use a can opener or bottle opener to open them with. And so she comes out and she has one of these bottles of water, and she proceeds to pop it open
with her kitty.
The
bottle opener.
And she's not just opening it. When she's popping it, she's splashing.
It's a whole splash. When I tell you, we were sitting fairly far away from the stage. I know I felt the drop. I felt the drop.
Splashed all over me. What is that? You know, so we're like, this really is a lot more than we anticipated.
Than we bargained for sure.
How do we get ourselves into this?
This is not what I had expected when my man's out front had said kitty shows.
Yes. And then we look over at the other black folks that were there, and they was like, I don't know.
Saucers. So shocked. So we end up being fit to be tied. We want to get the check. We end up getting the check. We settle the bill. We're on our way out. We're like grabbing our things, getting our bag, walking out, and there is one final act. So the woman comes, and in Thailand, in Asia, maybe you're able still to smoke cigarettes in bars. So she walks around the woman, and I really feel like it was the woman from Act 1, the popper, the bing ball popper. She comes back out, and she's asking somebody for a cigarette. So I think like, okay, it must really be done, because like you finish up with a cigarette, right? So she comes and she asks somebody for a cigarette. They hand her a little cigarette, and she bends over, booty cheeks facing the crowd, and she sticks the cigarette in her kitty. And then she realizes she don't have a light. She's in a precarious situation to give her, to light her smoke, right? So who lights the smoke?
Well, I was walking past. I was on my way out the door, and I just so happened to have a lighter. So when she bent over and placed the cigarette in her kitty, I politely pulled out my lighter and I lit it for her.
And she proceeds to smoke the cigarette out of her kitty with the most powerful drag I've ever seen. It took her 3 puffs to smoke the cigarette down to the filter. Now, if you were to ask me where the smoke went, like if she blew the smoke out, I can't attest to that. but I do know she smoked it down to the filter, baby.
So we walked out of there like we had just got out of a war. Like we were just like shell shocked. Couldn't understand, really process what we had just seen.
No, I think I went lay down.
I
went to bed.
I was like in a state of shock. But we knew that it was going to be a good story.
Yeah.
What would you have done in that situation?
Would you have gone to the kitty show?
Would you have gone to the kitty show? Would you have stayed for the whole show? Comment below and tell us what you think. Craziest night in Thailand.
Super crazy.
Rest of the trip was wonderful. Like I said, went to a lot of temples, a lot of different stores and shops and things. It was a great cultural experience. However, Patpong Ping Pong was definitely the highlight of the trip.
For sure.
So thank you so much, Loud Owl, for joining.
Well, thank you for having me.
You're such a sweetie.
Thank you for having me.
And I enjoy traveling with you.
Oh, thank you. I enjoy traveling with you.
Hey, so stay tuned for more stories from my travels. And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Beep, 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 beep.